We are in the dirtiest of dirty trucks today because my wife had this thing loaded up with mulch. We are heading to a farm to take a look at some goats. We don't know anything about goats. We just know that we think we want goats. And we're about to start. Yeah. So you were like in 180, right?
Yes.
180, lemon. Lila. And nutmeg and I keep wanting to call it Stitch.
Which one?
The one you like.
Sand. We're calling
Sand.
it Twiggy though.
We are choosing goats. We're going down the rabbit hole.
The one over.
All right. We are on our way home. We now own 4 goats, which means I have to go home and build a goat shelter. And we got to start getting the stuff together to put up some fencing for them. So this is going to be an adventure that's going to take off pretty darn fast. Well, we bought 4 goats, which means we need a place for 4 goats. And what we're doing right now is trying to build something. We're trying to also use a lot of the stuff that we already have and not buy new stuff. So Jafana is out here pulling the nails out of this old deck. That was the deck for when we had a camper out here. And we want to reuse that wood. It's in pretty good shape. We're going to use it along the backside of that little goat shed we're putting together. I need to check on a few things, and then I need to run to the store and buy a whole bunch of stuff for the rest of the goat shed, because we got to get this darn thing built in a couple of days.
The goat house.
The goat house. All right, well, good luck.
I got this.
Okay, baby, you got this?
I got this.
All right.
Okay. It's not one thing, it's another. Take that. Wasn't so bad.
So Jafana Did about 3/4 of this yesterday while I was at the store picking up some supplies. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock out the rest of this real quick as I can anyway. And then we're gonna get over and start working on the goat shelter.
Good morning. So if we didn't have enough craziness going on, we bought 4 goats yesterday. Otherwise we would have had to wait till like another year from now. So it was now or never. So we're building a goat shed right now. The first of probably a few.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be more.
But
we don't know what we're doing. We're not pretending we do. We just have an idea of what we need. The first thing is we need some shelter. We need to provide some shade out here in this field because we're going to put some electric fence up around this field to help protect them. And we need them to have some shade. Eventually, we're going to cut some trails back in this brush so they can get down in that brush with some electric fence around it. But to start off with, the first thing they've got to have is shelter.
so we bought the Kinko boar mix, and there's 4 doelings that we got yesterday. But they're coming home in about a week. We have a week to get ready. So that's what we're doing today.
When we drove out to see the goats, I wasn't really sure that we were ready to get them. It's like looking for a puppy when you don't know much about dogs. They all look cute at first. As you learn more about the breed, you discover a lot of things that you wish you knew to start with. Well, we don't know anything about goats, but we're about to start learning.
So why do you have an overhang if you're just going to cut it off?
I have an overhang in the back I'm going to cut off because on the top, when you lift it up, it's going to get shorter going across.
Okay, you lose.
So I've got to make sure that we're using 4x4s for the supports to nail into for the siding.
Got
I
it.
want to make sure that it's going to reach.
Now I understand. How can you kick it if it's screwed in?
What's that?
How can you kick it if it's screwed in?
Because it moves the whole thing.
I don't.
There you go.
Oh.
Careful. Well, we took a little lunch break, back at it. Time to start putting up the posts and see if we can't get the posts and the roof system on here today. Hopefully we can get some of the siding on, but if we can get the posts and the roof system up, I'd say it's a pretty good day. I've got my saw out here so I can make my cuts quickly. And you're probably wondering, in the middle of a field, how are you going to do that? Well, I just happen to have this solar generator. This is a battery generator. It's an EcoFlow Delta 2 Max. And this puppy should handle the demands of that saw and probably the compressor very, very easily. And I've got a 160 watt solar panel out here right now too, since the sun is just cranking right now. And that'll help add some back to it when we're not actually making cuts. It'll make it last longer. Now, if I needed to, we would drag it back up to the house and charge it up. It takes about an hour to charge, a little bit more. So if that's what it came to, that's what we do, but I really don't anticipate it. I charged it up to 100% this morning. I tucked it in the shade just because it seemed like a good idea. So I'm gonna go over here and start taking some measurements and start making some cuts and see if we can't stand some of these things up. Did you plug it into the power source?
Yes.
Yes?
Is the power?
Did you turn the power source on?
No.
So there's 2 buttons for it. I think it's on because it's charging.
Okay.
Right, and so since you've got it plugged in here, you're going to turn this on for the AC.
Okay.
And that should do it. And let's find out. I didn't turn the main power on, but when I plugged it in, it seemed like it came on. When I plugged in the solar charger,
Yeah.
it's on. Seems to spin up a little slower. Doesn't spin up as fast. But it works just fine. Cool.
That's awesome. So much better than hauling the generator out here.
Oh, tons better than trying to bring the Honda down here. Plus, you don't have the noise, you don't have the exhaust. pretty straight.
As we drove home, I was tossing a few things together in my head to figure out where we were going to keep them and what we could build quickly. The one thing that I figured for certain was that we needed to use standard available lengths so that we didn't need to cut as many pieces.
Front corner.
You always have to have something to say. If you didn't buy it, make it, do it, it's not right. There's something not right about it. It's electrolytes. There's no sugar in it. It's good.
It's Brawndo. It's got what plants crave. Is that what you're telling me?
I told Lauren.
I know it's not Gatorade, I can tell you that. I don't know what it is.
It's new. It's fine.
It's new.
New. It's new. It's good. It has electrolytes, no sugar. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It has a good flavor.
Mmm. About that flavor. We're gonna have to talk about that.
I told Lauren, let him pick the dog, because if he doesn't pick it, there's gonna be something wrong with that dog. And every time that dog gets in trouble, that's gonna be because he didn't pick it.
Wish my grandpa was around. He picked a dog.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good at picking dogs.
Training dogs is amazing.
Really?
Oh yeah. That was wonderful.
I'm sure it was.
Ah.
There are a lot of low-to-the-ground goat shelters on the internet, and a lot of them would be easier and faster to make and suit our goats very well. But I wanted to be able to stand up in them when we need to clean it and when we need to make some changes. I also want something that's going to grow with us over the next year or two for any additions of goats that we get. And I need to make it pretty, because my business partner has a lot of opinions and is never afraid to share them with me. When I went to the hardware store the day before this, Jafana let me know that I needed to incorporate as much older material that we had laying around as possible. So the 6x6 posts that we're using for foundation skids are new, but all the 4x4 material is stuff that we had laying around in stacks from previous use around the farm. As our needs have changed, we've gathered together anything that was still viable and stored them for later use. Sometimes it's hard to walk that fine line between being prepared for the future and being a hoarder. I'm glad that we saved them, and Jafana's glad that we're getting rid of them. It's the same way with the deck that she took apart. We knew that at some point we were going to use that wood. We just didn't know what for. As I go through this video, I find myself wondering how many times this same situation has played out over the last 4 years. Me up on a ladder, and Jafana waiting for me to figure out what my next move is. Even though we've moved into the house, the build hasn't slowed down for us, and there are dozens of projects like this waiting for us over the next 5 years.
There was a bow in the front of this board, and it created a gap between the center of between that board and the edge of those rafters. So I went to the bottom, and it bowed out a little bit down. It bowed out a little bit down on this one too. So I pushed the board forward and drove a screw into it. That screw pulled it in tight and took out all the slack, and both the front and the back are now straight, which is perfect. So now I'm just going to put a couple more screws in it to fasten the roof to it. And I think we should probably, we got some light left, let's do some of the siding. I can always do the roof later. So we're going to take these. I'm glad we don't have that thing set up to bump fire.
Oh my God.
I would be on my way to ortho. Set this thing right here. Alright, I don't know what the light's going to do.
Let's see if it takes.
Let's see.
That's awesome. I can see all the roads.
We just want to say thanks
very
for
pretty.
watching. We know that there's a lot of things you can do with your time besides watching us build a goat shed. But we appreciate you coming by, and we hope you'll come back again. We'll see you guys next time in BreakHeart Orchard.
What? No way. I always cut exactly the way it's supposed to be cut.
Lemon flavor.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with that lemon, but they're going to need to work on those trees. I was thinking more like armpit. Like,
what does
like
armpit
if
taste
you
like?
licked
Yeah.
the sweaty little thing right here on the inside of the elbow, that's kind of what it tasted like.
That's not a flavor.
I'm not a fan.
That's not flavor.
Oh, it's a flavor, sweetheart. It's just not a good one. Anyway, hope it didn't catch me going over there and peeing. I'll have to make sure that's not in there.